Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make is actually a coffee chiffon cake. I don't really want to call it a chocolate chiffon because it's really, that's why it's really called coffee, because we are going to be putting, coffee in it. But it does resemble like a chocolate, basically, when it's baked up. Okay, what I did was, to save time, you're going to need 7 separated eggs. And what I did was I took 7 whites of the eggs in my mixer, as you can see, and with my whip. And I started to beat them to form soft peaks. At that time, then I did add 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Continue to beat them till you have higher peaks. At that point, then I want you to gradually add a half a cup of granulated sugar till you really have some really nice peaks on these egg whites. So I'm going to turn my machine on, so I'm going to warn you about the sound just for a second, and then we'll continue from there. Okay, now I want to show you how beautiful these egg whites are. And I don't know if you can see how beautifully light and fluffy. So this is going to take the most of time, basically, for this cake, but it's well worth it. Once it's baked up, you're gonna really love it. Okay. All right. The next thing that we're going to do is set that aside for the moment, and I'm going to quickly put in another one of my mixing bowls here. Okay. And I'm going to put my paddle. You can, use your whip if you want. I tend to use my paddle. Okay. And what we're going to do next is, I started to beat the 7 yolks, okay, in a bowl. So I'm just going to put that all into my mixer here. Okay, and let me grab a spatula real quick so I can get all these egg yolks out. Now again, that was 7. The 7 yolks, you already saw the 7 whites that I have already beaten. Okay, so these are the 7 yolks. Okay, now once you get them in there, then what you're going to do is you're going to start beating in a half a cup of granulated sugar. Now you want to beat these yolks till they're really nice and bright yellow and quite thick. Shouldn't take you too long, depending on the speed. Okay, that's why I never make this cake with a hand mixer. That's for sure. It's always my stand up because I want speed and it helps move the recipe along quicker. Okay, the next thing that you're going to need is 1 tablespoon of instant coffee, granules or crystals, okay? And you're going to use 1/3 cup water. It doesn't have to be hot, but I put 1/3 cup water in my tablespoon, took a spoon and stirred it in, and I'm going to put this in the egg yolks. And then just beat that in. Okay, the next thing you're going to be putting in is 2 ounces of your semi-sweet chocolate, okay? 2 ounces of that. And you noticed I said semi-sweet. You don't want to use, unsweetened chocolate. This is semi, okay? And we're going to beat this in. everything's well combined. And that might take you 3 minutes. It really depends on your speed, okay? Right, the next thing that you're going to do now is to beat in flour. So you're going to need 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to beat it into the liquid mixture. With this also for about another 3 or 4 minutes, just till it's well combined. And it's going to make, of course, the cake batter for you. And next you're going to be beating in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay, with my spatula, I want to make sure clean the sides of my mixing bowl and make sure that I get to the very bottom of everything, that it's gonna all beat together, okay? Now again, you don't want to overbeat this, just till you feel everything looks like it's smooth and silky. One thing about making this cake, just as I'm putting this together, you'll smell that wonderful coffee aroma. And when you bake it, your whole kitchen, it will smell between like dark chocolate, if you can imagine. It's just really very fragrant, and everybody usually will, you know, come into the kitchen and ask, okay, you know, what are you making? What are you baking? What's in the oven? Because it does. It smells so good. All right, I'm going to show you what the batter looks like. Okay, it's not going to be super thick, but it's not really thin either, and I hope you can see that. Okay, but that's the batter, and again, just make sure all the sides and the bottom of that mixing bowl, everything's combined really nicely, nice for you. Okay. All right. All right. Now, of course, you're going to need at least a 10-inch tube pan. You won't have to grease it or anything like that, okay? If you're using a tube pan, and I want to show you, like this, once it's baked up, you're going to turn it upside down till the cake is completely cool, and then you'll release it. If you don't have a tube pan that has the little stand to it, then you'll want to put it over a bottle or a funnel, that kind of thing, and till it releases. Just take a funnel like that on your counter, like that. And it really depends, you know, it might, you know, take a half hour to cool down. It might take 40 minutes, but like I said, if you have a pan with the little legs on it, you don't have to bother with a funnel, okay? All right, let's go back to the recipe. So we have these beautiful egg whites, as you see, that are beaten. And then we're going to actually combine the two together, okay? To the batter and to the egg whites. So I'm going to just put it in very, very slowly, and then we're just going to try to gently fold this in, because you don't want to take a lot of the air out. So I tend to just put a little at a time, and I don't plop it right in the center of the egg whites. I put it to the side, and then just fold gently. Again, let me just push a little bit to the sides here. And then just fold it with your spatula or your spoon or whatever you're using. Okay. All right, let's try to now start getting the rest of this all out of here. And again, just fold, is, you know, You want to combine though, but you don't, you don't want to overbeat it either. Okay. So I just want to get the rest of this out. This makes for a really delicious, light, moist cake. Okay, get that all out. And now I'm just going to take a little bit of time and do the folding. Okay. All right. And now we're going to put it, of course, into our pan. I'm going to try to lower it as close to the pan as I can so it doesn't deflate too much. Okay? And then just gently make sure that you're working on the sides all the way around the cake. Now, especially people, if you really love coffee and you love that taste, I really think you're going to enjoy this recipe if you make it. I really do. Like I said, the most time is spent in your egg whites. The time that it takes. I want to make sure to get this all out of my mixing bowl, and I don't tap my pan at all. Alright, get rid of those mixing bowls. Okay, and you're going to put this in a 325 degree oven, and it's going to take you anywhere from 50 to 60 minutes to bake this cake. So again, that's what takes the time, but it's going to be well worth it if you do it. Okay, so 325, 50 to 60 minutes. Let me rinse my hands real quickly here. I'm handling raw eggs, and I don't want to handle a cake with that on my hands. Okay. Now, once it's baked up, it'll come out and it'll look like this. Now, you can make coffee frostings or icings for it. You can put just a vanilla glaze over it and it tastes really good. I went ahead and I've covered it with chocolate and then chocolate jimmies on the top. And you can use your chocolate chip morsels if you want. About a half a cup to a teaspoon of solid shortening or oil in a bowl in a microwave, and then just drizzle it on the top. You can eat it plain. This cake is really just delightful. So let's cut into it here, and I'm going to try to show you what the cake itself looks like. It's extremely light. This piece that I'm holding, you don't even think you have something in your hand. That's how light and delicate. I don't know if you can see the flake on it, but how moist and how soft that this is. It truly is really a chiffon cake. As I said earlier on in the video, it does take a while to do these steps. But the cake is so delicious and so light, so delicate, and yet moist. It's not dense, and it's not heavy, and it's not dry at all. And like I said, you can, cover it with whatever icings or frostings that you like, or even just a plain drizzle. I think the folks that end up trying this, they're going to just love it. Well, if you try this recipe and you like it, we'll leave a comment, because I'd like to hear from you. And I'd also like to ask, if you like this recipe, to give me a like, and if you're so inclined, subscribe to my channel. That would be just great. I also want to remind you that Diane Lovetobake is solely shown on YouTube. So my videos are nowhere else. So I hope that you'll tune in to YouTube and watch my videos, okay? And there we have it. So I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake, and I really hope that you try this coffee chiffon cake. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.